All right. So for those of you who don't know, this lunatic over here on the right is Mosab Yousef, who is the son of one of the Hamas co-founders. He is also a Israeli spy. So he's totally unhinged. He lies in this interview multiple times. He screams and he tries to basically dehumanize the Palestinians. He tries to say they don't exist, which I can't really think of a worse way to try to dehumanize someone. I guess I can't think of worse ways, but one of the worst ways to try to dehumanize someone is to basically say that they don't exist, right? You're literally depersoning them by saying, like, you're not even here. You're not even real. Yes, he does have googly eyes, crazy eyes. Like, his eyes are like evil. Some people have dead eyes. Some people have evil eyes. He has evil eyes. Somebody posted that he reminded them of Rasputin from the cartoon Anastasia. And I was like, oh, a little bit. And he is Palestinian, but he doesn't refer to himself as Palestinian because he is a paid anti-Arab Israeli spy shill. So he just calls himself Arab. So Abby Martin is a journalist. Somebody asked, who is Abby Martin? Abby Martin is a journalist. And she's actually been covering Palestine and what's been happening in Gaza for a long time. She's been talking about it for years. She made a documentary about Gaza in 2019. So she's done really good work on it. All right, so let's watch this absolute clown who sold out his own people. Just total garbage human. My hope is that through all of this, that people start waking up to the fact that for years and years and years in this country, we have had identity politics used as a weapon, especially in America, especially in the West. And they'll use identity politics as a shield to criticize their own people. They'll use identity politics as a shield to hurt their own people from whatever group you're talking about. And they'll also use it as a way to pretend like they're making progress in certain areas of life for us when they're not. So this loser is just a total betrayal of everyone. He's garbage. That's that. And by the way, he's unhinged because as you'll see in this interview, there's always that trope about how women can't control their emotions. Abby Martin is so calm during this and collected, and he's losing his shit. He's hysterical as fuck.
That is getting Israel so much unpopular and to simultaneously compare yourself favorably to other civilian death ratios in war seem to me staggering.
Indeed, especially since we have seen the comparison as the dust has been settling real time on our phones. We see Israel has committed, in fact, some of the most heinous war crimes in modern history appears. And as we're seeing the invasion now, the last vestige of escape for Palestinians, the last vestige of aid delivery, 1.3 million Palestinians, including 600,000 children, with nowhere left to go. This is what Palestinians were told was a safe corridor. That is why they all fled to Rafah. Rafah has been bombarded for the last several weeks, killing dozens of people every day. So I think at this point, 6 months into a genocide, to be deliberating whether or not Israel should continue with this onslaught, this military operation that will result in mass slaughter to continue their ethnic cleansing of Gaza is frankly absurd, patently so, considering what we've seen them do just in the last several weeks.
Yeah, you're right, source.
Evidence of summary executions of doctors, evidence of mass graves, hundreds of bodies bound, dozens of men, women, and children bound, evidence, according to the UN, of Palestinians buried alive, using drones to lure out Palestinians with sounds of crying children so they could be shot and killed. I mean, unparalleled in modern history, actually. And the devastation that's occurred in the Gaza Strip, according to the UN, will take 80 years to rebuild without conditions. So at this point, Israel needs to be stopped before they continue this horrific onslaught, Piers.
Mosab, to respond to what Abby just said, but just your response to that interview with an Israeli government spokesman, because I got to say,
he literally looks like a killer.
He would be so certain how many Hamas terrorists the IDF have killed, but admit he had no idea how many civilians have been killed, given that it's the deaths of the civilians that is getting Israel so much unpopular reaction around the world.
First of all, this is my theory on this guy really quick, because we're talking about him, okay? I think this guy is a demon, okay? Now, I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but I'm a very spiritual person, all right? I am a Christian, non-denominational, okay? Not evangelical Christians. I'm a non-denominational Christian, and so I'm very spiritual in these ways. I do believe people can be evil, and I think that there is a particular kind of evil that happens when you sell out your own family, your own people in order to profit. and him selling out his own people, his own family in order to profit, that makes one have evil eyes. That's just my theory. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these demons. That woman that we just watched that tweet of, she was a demon too.
Because we cannot send the Israelis to Rafah and to dangerous zones to collect statistics and count the numbers. It's a very dangerous zone. Israel is looking from the outside.
It's a very dangerous zone, so we got to make sure that we don't send the Israeli troops in, their tanks in, but all the civilians can be there. Like, are you hearing how insane this is? So it's too dangerous for soldiers in full military gear, but it's not too dangerous for a 4-year-old. Make it make sense, okay?
And also, who said that Israel is only responsible for the killing of Gazans? Mostly Hamas responsible. First of all, for taking human shields.
Human
shields! Booby traps. How could you differentiate the death that was caused by an airstrike?
What we need to do, okay? I want you guys to do this in the comments after the video is done, the live, is we should write out all of the lines that they use, like the talking points that they always use, and like we have it and like make a thread so we always have it. And one of them is the human shields routine. First of all, the UN has investigated this. There is no evidence that any Hamas militant has used them as human shields. Who uses them as human shields is Israel. Like, we saw that report from a couple of weeks ago where there was a soldier who was trying to get a family out of a house, and they used like a 15-year-old Palestinian boy who was blindfolded to get them to come out. Okay? We're talking about human shields. Get the hell out of here. So yeah, that's their favorite talking points. Human shields, but Hamas. Israel has a right to defend itself. Like, yes, AK, yes. Hasbaro bingo. Yes, that is what we need to do. How do you make a bingo card? We need to like bingo card and create the Hasbara. Maybe we can do that in Discord. What I'm going to do after this live, I am going to, after this live, I'm going to start a Discord and everybody, and we can maybe make a Hasbara bingo card together. I love that idea. Absolutely love that idea. Who is banging on my door? I don't answer the door. Okay. Literally have a ministry of propaganda. But you know what I find amazing about it, though, you guys, is seriously, I'm bar bingo. Yes, okay. So I'm gonna make a Discord, and we're gonna do that in there. Like a bingo card. It'll be fun. You know what the thing though that I love about that is that they haven't updated their talking points. You know what I mean? Like they haven't updated them. They still use the same talking points that they have from Frank Luntz in like 2009, and some that go back all the way to the 50s. Like, come with some new talking points, Playboy. All right, sorry, back to this lunatic. I hope you guys don't mind that I'm pausing so much, but it's like, watch it, and then I want to like tuttle with you guys, which is kind of the point, but I know that sometimes people can pause too much. Yeah.
By Hamas death trap. How do we know the difference? Why? Listen to me. All this moral, Pierce, no, listen to me. All this dilemma, you know, with your whatever morality, this is war. In war, people die. You need to wake up to this reality, accept it. Stop this denial. We are in the face of savages who hijacked and...
Sir, this is a Wendy's. Why are you why is he screaming like that? It's not a war. It's a genocide. We all know that. It's an ethnic cleansing. But I do love how he's like, it's a war! It's a war! It's like, whoa. Can you calm down? There's no one here. You're alone. You're alone in a studio. You don't need to keep screaming. Thank you. It's a war with Hamas!
An entire society. This is a very difficult war.
Society!
No other army can do the job, and I'm not willing to risk thousands of lives of foot soldiers to deal with this type of savages who hijack the entire society. 100,000 people could have died. Israel is doing everything they could. Don't reduce it to the point. Do you have statistics? Who cares?
Well, actually,
Egypt,
no, I think you're missing my point.
Authority,
yeah, Mosab.
Jordan,
all right.
The Arab world don't want Hamas at whatever cost.
Mosab.
Whatever it costs, we want to remove Hamas from power.
Okay, I understand that. That's a different question. My point is why...
Do you?
Well, why does... My question is this for you. Why is it that, if, as you say, Israel has no way of working out who's being killed here, and I know all about war, My brother served in wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. My brother-in-law served in wars. My grandfather served in wars. My uncle served in wars. I don't need a lecture about what warfare is, but I do find it surprising that Israel's official spokesman, months and months into this war, is able to tell me immediately how many Hamas terrorists have been killed by Israeli forces, but admits he hasn't got a clue how many civilians have been killed. And I'm sorry, I think most viewers will find that stunning. You say Israel has no way of checking, but they seem to have a way of checking how many Hamas they're killing, Mossad.
Listen, it's Israel's responsibility to know the death of their own citizens. This is their responsibility. I think your question was absurd. This is why you put him on the spot. He was not prepared for it. But this is not going to change the reality on the ground. Hamas must.
Hamas! Thank you, Indigo Moon, for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. I love how Abby Martin is unfazed as well. Well, I like how he's like, I like how Piers Morgan is not bothered by the fact that he's just calling it a war. He's just like, no, don't lecture me about war. I know about war. This guy's a psycho. He's a psycho.
My brother-in-law served in wars. My grandfather served in wars.
And then all embarrassing. And then it's embarrassing that he's defending the spokesperson that couldn't give a number because they're liars. Like we know exactly how many Hamas terrorists we've killed. 13,000. And he's like, well, do you know how many civilians you've killed? No, where's the door? Like, so ridiculous. It's laughable. Their lies are laughable. And the only reason why they don't get made fools of more is because they don't get questioned. Piers Morgan is not adversarial to the Israeli regime. He's not. He's sympathetic to the Israeli regime. But look at how him just asking a few questions, just doing a few pushbacks, just doing a few follow-ups, and that guy totally crumbled and fell apart. That is what happens to the Israeli regime when you question them. The reason why they don't fall apart more often is because of the fact that they don't get questioned by our media. Our media just accepts whatever they say. Our media just accepts hook, line, and sinker whatever they say. But if you do just a little pushback, they completely fall apart. Daniela, I am writing a song about Palestine. I don't know if you were earlier on the live, but I actually am in the process of writing a song about Palestine right now. And I was saying at the beginning of this, if anybody knows like a good producer or somebody who can quickly work and can help with like production, that would be great. And let me know who they are, because who's affordable, obviously, I need somebody who's affordable to help me with the production side, because I'm doing the songwriting, I'm doing the singing, I'm doing the arrangement, but like I need some help with the production. So anyway, yeah, I'm working on it. And let me know if you know anybody that can actually help with that in video production. We want to see you on Piers Morgan. You guys, I want to go on too. I want to go on too and fight with a Zionist. I want to go on too. Like, put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. I want to go on there and fight with a Zionist. Nar, I am both. I sing and I write music. I would love to debate the son of Hamas and wear the green, green band. Do the green band. No. Well, guys, if I ever am going to do this, I need people's help. All these people only respond to like sourcing. So like, I would need like a crowd swell of people to like campaign to get me on, Anyway, let's keep going through this psychopaths.
What warfare is. But I do find it surprising that Israel's official spokesman, months and months into this war, is able to tell me immediately how many Hamas terrorists have been killed by Israeli forces, but admits he hasn't got a clue how many civilians have been killed. And I'm sorry, I think most viewers will find that stunning. You say Israel has no way of checking, but they seem to have a way of checking how many Hamas they're killing.
Absolutely, Dale.
Israel's responsibility to know the death of their own citizens. This is their responsibility. I think your question was absurd. This is why you put him on the spot. He was not prepared for it. But this is not going to change the reality on the ground. The reality on the ground, Hamas must go. The only side want Hamas to stay is the Iranian Ayatollah. And for some stupid reason, Karen in America wants Hamas to stay. But the Arab world, let me tell you something. Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the majority of the Arab world. We are Arabs.
First of all, thank you so much, Cheria. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. You guys are the reason why I'm even able to do this. Love you all. All of you guys have been the reason why I've been able to even do content creation. And, my songs and do political analysis and do my comedy sketches and my parodies making fun of all these clowns. So you guys are the best. I love you. Let's get back to making fun of this clown. Did you guys catch that? How he called her Karen? Like, no. Listen, googly eyes. You don't get to culturally appropriate, or whatever the fuck they call it, co-opt, a funny saying that was started from Black people to specifically refer to, like, white women who would call the police on them for, like, cookout or, like, their dog. Like, is where Karen originated from. So this clown stealing it and trying to rework it to call a Palestinian activist and journalist a Karen. Bitch, be gone. Be gone. Be gone, Satan. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. He probably got that. He probably thought he nailed that. He's like, gotcha.
Arab. We are not Palestinians. We don't want Hamas. We don't want Islam. We want Islamists out of power.
Okay.
Simple as that.
All right.
Okay. I don't know if there are any Palestinians in my audience right now, but like, not true. That's a lie, right? We don't want to be Muslim? Like, that's a thing. Why is he trying to make that a thing? There are a lot of Palestinians who are Muslim. I know not all of them are. There are Palestinian Christians. There have been Palestinian Jewish people. But like the idea that like as Arabs, because he doesn't like saying Palestinian, we as Arabs aren't Muslim. What? You know, the reason why they do this is because they're always trying to fearmonger about Islam, because they want to convince Americans on the other side of the world that like Shah is nigh, like Shah's around the corner. Yeah, he does. He just lies effortlessly. Phantom, who is Palestinian, said, yeah, obviously lying. Yeah, just wanted to confirm. People now telling me right now in the comments that you guys are in fact Muslim and he is a giant liar. Oh my gosh. He's such a joke. Look at his googly eyes. Are you guys seeing this? Let me see if I can make this bigger. Can I? No. Okay. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but like I paused it. It's like googly eyes.
Have been killing Jewish and Arab children.
Right.
This is not your game. This is not her game. It's not about statistics.
It's not a game.
It's about doing the correct thing of removing Hamas from power.
Mossad,
end of the story.
Let me interrupt, because you quoted Saudi Arabia in your rant there. So let me read you a statement from the Saudi Foreign Ministry. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs expresses the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's warning of the dangers of the Israeli occupation forces targeting the city of Rafah as part of a systematic bloody campaign to storm all areas of Gaza Strip and displace its residents towards the unknown in light of a lack of safe zones after the massive destruction caused by the Israeli war machine. The ministry affirms the kingdom's categorical rejection of the occupation forces' continued blatant violations of international resolutions, calling for the cessation of these massacres and their violation of international law and international humanitarian law without deterrence, which exacerbates the humanitarian crisis and limits international peace efforts. The ministry renewed the kingdom's demand for the international community to intervene immediately to stop the genocide carried out by occupation forces against defenseless civilians.
I do like, though, how this guy just keeps shamelessly lying. Like, just keep trying, like, he's like, Egypt is supporting what the IOF is doing. You know, it's just Egypt is supporting what they're doing. And so is Saudi Arabia. No, they're not. Both Egypt and Saudi Arabia put out statements about it. Yeah, that's too much of a coward to actually the Palestinian
and the occupied Palestinian territories. So when you say all Arabs agree with you, Mossad, actually they don't. That is the Saudi Foreign Ministry saying they want it to stop right now.
As we speak, the intelligence services of the Arab world, all of them in a joint operation room with Israel to rid of Hamas. I don't care about some politician trying to make a political statement. It's false. The reality on the ground, we don't want Hamas. We don't want Islamists. We don't want this anarchy. The
reality on the ground, he doesn't even live in Gaza. What do you mean the reality on the ground? Just trying to know.
Revolution without a moral compass. We don't want to globalize it. We don't want to bring it to the United States. The game is over. Hamas is out and their death warranty has been issued. It's a finished job.
All right,
and we're going into Rafah.
All dramatic. They're finished and their death warrant has been issued. Oh my gosh, this guy's literally Mossad.
And we are going to eliminate every last one of them.
Let me bring in Abby. Abby, you've been listening to this. I mean,
she
understand why Israelis want to eliminate Hamas completely, because this is a terror group who are wedded to the eradication of Israel and everybody in it. In fact, they have reiterated.
Oh, yeah. No, don't get me wrong, Mo. I wasn't saying he speaks for any of you guys. I know he doesn't speak for you. This guy's a psycho and a sellout, and he doesn't even think that Palestinians exist. Even though he is Palestinian, he is a traitor. I just wanted to confirm with all you guys who are in here who are Palestinian that, like, he's lying when he says that Palestinians want to reject Islam and being Muslim. Like, bullshit. Just so when he says that, he's trying to pander to the West because the West has been so thoroughly like brainwashed being afraid of Islam because everyone's brain broke after 9/11. And so you can mention anything having to do with Islam after 9/11 and people like shit their pants. So he is trying to appeal to the West with that as the Israeli spy that he is. Okay.
Rated publicly through their official spokesman a desire to commit as many October the 7th as they can. So I completely understand why Israel wants to get rid.
Tamer, I think that he is Palestinian. I think that it is true that he was born in the occupied West Bank and he is the son of one of the Hamas co-founders. But, you know, there's a saying, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. He's a traitor. He's a traitor to his own people. And, you know, it's a couple bucks from the Israeli regime to totally throw his entire community under the bus. There are unfortunately people like that. There's a lot, you know, there are a lot of people that will happily throw their entire community off of a cliff if it can make them a little money and give them a little privilege and power. You know, that's why I feel like when people talk about like, they don't understand, like they'll like to supremacy and think like it's just like white people think they're supreme. It's like, no, white's like a whole system. It's like a whole structure. You don't actually have to just be white looking to be doing the work of white supremacy. Like anybody can be doing the work of white supremacy, including this clown and Israeli propaganda and imperialism.
Of these terrorists. The question is, how do they do that without killing many, many more civilians? As we saw from the Saudi statement, there are many Arab countries now in the region increasingly concerned that if there is a full attack on Rafah, which has 1.5 million people, a lot of civilians are going to die.
He's like,
right, and you know, to your before, I think the death toll is actually vastly undercounted, considering how we have not even began to excavate the bodies under the rubble. So I would say that the death toll is a vast undercount. As far as Mosab's point about Hamas, I think that, you know, Mosab is a Palestinian who hates Palestinians. He's developed a lucrative career being able to lie about basic facts about this conflict.
Exactly.
And so when he says Palestinians or Hamas, what he really means is all Arabs and all Muslims. In fact, I've seen that plain as day in his social media and talks. He thinks that all Muslims are terrorists. And so, I mean, this is to the point that he is actually...
Isn't it kind of amazing, you guys, how as he's talking, first of all, she's 100% spot on right there. He's the Palestinian who hates Palestinians. And he's made a lucrative career off of lying about what's going on and profiting off the graves of his own people. Okay? 'Cause that's who this, that's who Rasputin over here is. First of all, isn't it weird? Isn't it that he looks like he's a photo here? Like as she's talking and he's on video, it's not a still photo. He looks so crazy that he looks like he's a still photo. Watch.
Credited to jailing
he's not
what is called
talking,
the Mandela, the Palestinian Mandela.
Like insane.
Marwan Barghouti, this is a guy who he put in prison 20 years ago, who was marching side by side with Israeli peace activists denouncing Hamas killing civilians. So again, I mean, when we're someone who's worked for an Israeli intelligence who spouts the same rhetoric as Israelis who say Hamas, but what they really mean is all Palestinians. I mean, it's really to debate someone on the fundamental reality and the principles of, you know, the conflict. Now, to your point, Piers, about what should they do about Hamas, I reject the premise of Israel's genocide. I'm not going to sit here and say, yes, Hamas is a terrorist organization and they need to be eradicated. Of course, that's not true. And I think that we can both agree.
What do you mean that's not true?
It's an impossible task. It's not true that something needs to be done about Hamas. I don't agree with that framework. And
yeah, I agree with that too. It is not up to the West. It is not up to the West to decide that. It is up to the Palestinians.
Parameters of that debate.
Why?
Because Israel's been committing ethnic cleansing and genocidal policies against the Palestinians for 70
but Hamas literally has a charter. Yeah, but Hamas literally has a stated charter.
Oh, we just did another bingo. The charter routine. Yeah, more on bingo. So in the routine of the propaganda that they always do in order to try to change the subject and excuse the genocide, they always say, yeah, but what about charter? What about the charter?
of Israel. That is the purest personification of a publicly stated policy of genocide.
Yeah, they love to bring up the charter from like the 80s. We're mentioning that actually it was like 2 people that were contributed to that charter, and they updated in 2017. Okay. Right. And the other thing, somebody who just mentioned that, Flux just mentioned, that you're totally right about. They always want to talk about the charter, the Hamas charter, but they never want to talk about the Likud charter, which says from the river to the sea. Oh, no, not the charter. Yeah, human shield, charter, right to defend ourselves.
That's not
I can
true,
imagine.
That's not true. Their revised charter says that they actually recognize the existence of the Israeli state among 1967 borders. That's the revised charter. And they actually make a political differentiation between Zionism and Judaism.
So
that's
when
the
their
actual
official
charter of
spokesman,
Hamas. So you keep pointing to a random spokesperson. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not random. He's the official spokesman for Hamas.
Right.
And he said literally 2 weeks after October the 7th, we are going to do this again and again and again. That is an existential genocidal threat to the existence of everyone in Israel. Clearly.
First of all, pause. SS, like, we're not going over that right now. I don't know why you're coming in here and like demanding me to do what you want me to do. This guy is Palestinian. There is evidence he is Palestinian. It is not my job to do that work for you. If you want to confirm that he's Palestinian, go look it up yourself. There is plenty of evidence, including the fact that his dad was one of the co-founders of the Hamas, that he is Palestinian. So, like, seriously. I'm not going to be rude, but like, it's like people will act like really demanding of something that's so easily fact checkable.
Publicly on camera. He's brazen about it.
Look, I think that when you're comparing one guy and his statement to literally...
Oh, never mind. Now I don't mind being rude, because whoever this is just called me sweetie. Don't call me sweetie, okay? Come in here. Don't even give a super chat and then think that you can call me sweetie. But
statements. Okay, but look at the official spokespeople of Israel, Piers, and look at the actual genocide they're committing.
Yeah, you're right, AK.
You cannot do. It's a complete false equivalency. One guy is saying one thing, the other dozens of Israeli ministers and cabinet officials and public media personas on TV are saying one thing and actually doing it on the ground.
You would allow Hamas to stay in power?
On the ground. It's not up to me, Piers. Hamas is representative of the...
Expressing many opinions.
First of all, thank you guys. Correct. Correct. I like the fact that she said that. I know, Zach, a genocidal threat. I know. I just love that they're always about how, if, might, and if they made a genocidal statement, all this while an actual genocide is happening. All this while the Israelis are carrying out a genocide right now in real life. They love to get stuck on these like hypotheticals of like, oh, well, like maybe, but you're doing it now. And what she said there is absolutely correct. It is not up to the West to decide who the Palestinians have as their leader. We want to support the Palestinians. We want to free Palestine, but it is not up to us to decide what to do with Hamas. That is up to the Palestinians. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, Hamas has to go because of October 7th. Well, if that's the case, if Hamas has to go because of October 7th, then the entire Israeli government, all the way from Benjamin Netanyahu to everyone that's in the Knesset, then they all have to go. All of them. Because they've been terrorizing the Palestinians for decades and committing war crimes against the Palestinians for decades. So you want Hamas to go? Then there's the door. Get the clown car, fit all of you guys in the clown car, bring your clown shoes, and go, is how that needs to go.
Marwan Barghouti is the most popular unifying figure in Palestinian society. He would resoundingly win in an election against Hamas. So what this is about, this isn't about Hamas. This is about eliminating every faction of Palestinian resistance, peaceful or not. It is not about Hamas.
It's all about what Hamas did on October the 7th.
But Piers, I think we both know it's not. Because what is the military occupation? When did Hamas come into power? We know that this isn't just about Hamas. What was Israel doing in the West Bank the year prior to October 7th? They killed 500 Palestinians, 80 children. This is ethnic cleansing. This is a military occupation. As long as you have these policies in place, you will never get to the root of the violence, Piers.
Wow.
All right, Mosab, there was an allegation there that you think all Muslims are terrorists. What's your response to what Abby Martin said?
Well, this is Abby's desperate attempt. I'm a man of the field. I fought against Hamas as part of legitimate intelligence organization against savage group that were targeting civilians in suicide bombing attacks, waves of suicide bombing attacks that they killed people indiscriminately. So Abby today want me for some reason to apologize for saving human life because my truth challenges her convenient truth.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's so amazing. My truth? What is he? I'm sorry, is he like, he said my truth, right? Did I get that right? He sounds like an American teenager who's fighting with her dad about how she needs to break up with her boyfriend and she needs to get serious about school. And he's like, you know what? She's like, this is my truth. Okay, Dad. Listen, Daddy. I love him. This is my truth. I know, seriously, it is like, it's giving Oprah. Like, I already don't like that saying because your truth can be whatever you want, Moab, but there's their truth and then there's the truth.
Abby does not have the authority. She's just a self-appointed low-grade journalist. How can you be a journalist and you call this a genocide, ethnic cleansing? And she's just keep repeating ethnic cleansing, genocide, colonialism, etc. None of it is real, including Palestine. It's only in your head. None of it is existential. Palestine was never born. How can you free it? It was never there. It's just a colonial entity, and some people choose to make it into a national identity. And this parrot has been just repeating Hamas propaganda. Marwan Barghouti that she's talking about him, she never met him. I knew Marwan before he got to power. He's a criminal. He killed 5 people. He has blood on his hands. He cheated on his wife. He has a secret son that he never revealed it to the public. Of course, I can criticize him, and I can criticize.
Okay, so as this guy's going on his rant, I want to bring up again, I want to go up. Wait, you and Earl the snitch is getting agitated. True. First of all, it's totally deranged, like, losing his shit, and bringing up that he shot his wife or like what? This doesn't even make sense. Okay, it doesn't even make sense. So this, but also I really want to focus really quick on what he said about the Palestinians not existing. Deranged. Not only is it deranged, it's like, it's genocidal. It's that's epoch. The Palestinians don't exist. And it's dangerous because how they continue to do whatever they want to the Palestinians and dehumanize them constantly is by basically saying they don't exist. Because if you don't exist, then you don't need any rights. If you don't exist, you don't need a state.
All the criminals that I know personally. She's been there only for a visit, and maybe she had some falafel sandwich, and she really was blown away with the experience. There is no such a thing as Palestine. It's about time to retire, find a different job. You're not a journalist. You don't qualify even to be a mother.
Wow.
Whoa.
Abby.
Mosab, it's usually a public figure caught lying about half the things that they said that would be completely discredited.
I like how she's just like, wow, anyway, you're a psycho. First of all, again, there he goes again with the genocidal talk of like, Palestine doesn't exist. Like, it's so deranged. It's psychotic. It's meant to encourage ethnic cleansing by saying that these people do not exist, that they don't deserve a state, that they don't deserve autonomy. This guy's sick. But I do also like how he loses his shit. You don't even deserve to be a mother. Like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's just so psychotic. I like how she can't help but laugh because he's so deranged.
And never allowed airtime. You are spewing such ahistorical anti-Arab bigotry that not even the fringe of Israeli society would agree with you. I mean, not even Israeli historians agree.
I'm the Arab. I am Arab. I am Arab. This is my ethnicity. Islam is just
anti-Muslim bigotry.
I am not a Muslim.
Mosab.
We are Arabs.
He's like, Mosab, please stop being
an anti-Muslim bigotry, which is frankly appalling considering that there's a billion people on the planet who would be characterized as you as, extremists who need to be used against, according to you. But Mosab, not even Israeli historians would agree with the fact that you claim that there's no military occupation in the West Bank, that there's no apartheid state. Israelis at least admit, yes, those things exist, but here's why they're necessary and justified.
Right,
they don't even agree.
Right. That's a great point that Abby made. She's right. This guy is so off his rocker doing propaganda for the Zionists that he's just saying that not only does Palestine not exist, not only does not being Palestinian exist, but then he's also lying and acting like there's no apartheid or occupation in the occupied West Bank. Something that most Israelis acknowledge, as she said. They'll come up with a bunch of excuses and bullshit as to why it's necessary for their protection and blah, 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 that we keep these people in open air prisons and we treat them like animals. It's for our protection. But like, they'll still acknowledge it's there. This clown is like pretending it's not even happening. Please.
You're so fringe that I don't even know where you're coming from. I mean, so again, if we can't even agree with the basic facts of the conflict and the reality in front of our eyes, I don't know how we can really even discuss this.
What's that?
Yeah, because you don't qualify.
Well, I think the potential. Listen, everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Listen, best case scenario, if there is an occupation, it's between Israel and Jordan, or it's between Israel and Egypt, because it was not an occupation of a country called Palestine. There was never Palestine in history. This is not an absurd statement. It's reality. Palestine never exists. That was not a country. It was not a nation. It's not an ethnic group. We are Arabs. We are the Arabs of Judea and Samaria. And when I was born, like millions of Palestinians, we had Jordanian birth certificate. The people of Gaza were Egyptian with Egyptian birth certificate. There was no Palestine. Yeah,
that's not even true. Like, I've seen Palestinian passports. Someone mentioned earlier in the chat that Golda Meir, who was like the first like Israeli prime minister, had a passport. So he's claiming that there was never a Palestine, that people who were Palestinian were actually just either Jordanian or Egyptian. It's like, no, bro, you're literally that just isn't true. There were people that had Palestinian passports. In fact, I read an article where there was like a Jewish Holocaust survivor that had fled to Palestine and swore allegiance to Palestine and got a Palestinian passport, like back in the 40s. So total lies, total propaganda. If he's saying that we're talking about countries that didn't exist, Israel did exist before, what was it, 48? So please.
Yasser Arafat created this entity and everybody believed him. And this lie must die. This is why I don't like what Abby and her likes doing by trying.
Yasser Arafat created Palestine? That doesn't even make sense. Yasser Arafat was not like in charge at the beginning of Palestine. What? Doesn't even make that. What do you say to that?
Delegitimize Israel. She's trying to discredit me. Who gave you the authority? How dare you?
You are
I'm
a spy. You're a spy for Israeli
conflict.
intelligence, Mosab.
It is not funny. It's not funny. Your tale, your false narrative need to stop because you are creating chaos. Listen, Abby, you are bringing chaos to the United States and you will be held accountable. A criminal like them.
Sure. Okay, Mosab.
First of all, why is he threatening her? Oh, yeah? You'll back and you will be held accountable. I also do like how he is talking to her like he's her father or husband and putting her in place. You don't talk to me like that. You will listen to what I say, little lady. You will be held accountable. I will threaten you. It's like, oh, that's, yeah. Like, I don't know why and also like, you're not her dad or her husband. I don't know why you're talking to her like that. Yeah, he's so embarrassing. It's almost like parody.
You can't be taken seriously, and you're not legitimate because you have worked for Israeli intelligence to out your own people. But listen,
sooner or later you
can't discredit my reality as well. You can't discredit my reality as well.
Sooner or later, you and your likes. And yes, he literally worked for the Israeli intelligence services, like actual spy.
I was in the West Bank. I had assault rifles pointed at my head from a 17-year-old American from Palo Alto.
You
You
are in my domain right
That's
now.
A military occupation.
Okay, you are in my domain. When you come to my domain, you have to pay respect. You have to reward the effort that I put to save human lives, and you cannot reduce that into some propaganda. Because
why on earth would I respect
that so much? I love that so much. You're in my domain, and as you are in my domain, you will respect me. You will respect me while you're in my domain. Like, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. I'm sorry, are you father? Like, what is happening? You will respect me. Oh my gosh. Full on tantrum. Full on tantrum. You will respect me.
You put the most unifying, popular Palestinian figure, you are credited to putting him in prison. This is someone who would win an election against Hamas. He is a peace activist. He was fighting for a two-state solution. This isn't about Hamas, and you know it. This is about you shutting down, tamping down on all factions of Palestinian society. And let's be clear, what is Palestine supposed to do? What are Palestinians supposed to do when in 2018, thousands of Palestinians in Gaza marched peacefully to this fortified perimeter fence that Israeli snipers have authorized themselves to shoot, to kill, and that's exactly what they did. They massacred over 200 peaceful demonstrators, medics, journalists, clearly marked press, disabled people in wheelchairs, and children. These are all.
I saw that in the documentary that Abby Martin did about the Great March of Return and how the Israeli snipers were literally shooting people that were in wheelchairs. Like, how many? It doesn't get much darker than going after murdering somebody in a wheelchair. And yes, they were shooting medics too. Like, there were medics trying to run to the aid of that had been shot by Israeli snipers, and then they would shoot the medics as they were trying to get the people. It's sick. It's absolutely sick. Yeah, this guy is so incredibly embarrassing. I actually can't. He looks psycho. He looks demon possessed. You will respect me.
Violations of international law in the Geneva Convention. Israeli snipers pushed up behind stand
sorry to keep people. I know you guys, but we won't respect you because, again, what this guy is for, okay? What he is for is to go and do propaganda on behalf of the Israeli regime. And he is also there to confuse people. Okay, that's what these sellouts do, who sell out their own people. They're there to confuse people so that if you're a person who really doesn't know that much about what's going on and you see him, you think, oh, he must be really credible because he's Palestinian and he's related to the Hamas guy. So he must know what he's talking about. So it's meant to deceive you. It's meant to get, AK says who's buying that, but I'm trying to, if you guys are here, I'm not talking to you, but clearly are cued in. I'm talking for the regular person. If a regular person who is not totally into watching what's going on, learning about what's going on, educating themselves about what's going on, and they just hear this guy, that's what he's there for. He's not there to, convince any of us who actually know what's going on. There to do propaganda and convince the kind of people that are just in Piers Morgan's audience or Cuomo's audience or any of the audiences of the places that he goes on. He is there to confuse the audience so that they go, oh, you know what? He must have a point. He must be credible. After all, he is Palestinian. That's exactly what he's for. Again, he's not there for us, for anybody who knows. He's there to confuse people. That is the point of Hasbara. That is the point of propaganda. Okay. And that is why they don't, and it shows what horseshit all people are, because what he should be to do, he should be required to admit and disclose the fact that he is an Israeli spy. That's what he should be required to do. He should be required every single time he goes on one of these shows to admit and disclose that he's an Israeli spy, but he won't. And most of the time, people don't say anything about it, and he just gets away with lying and lying and lying. The only reason why it came out on here is because Abby Martin called him out.
One by one in a methodical slaughter over the course of several months. That's when Palestinians tried to peacefully protest. So I think the question should be, what should Palestinians do? Because they're not even allowed to advocate for their legal rights. They're not even allowed to raise up a Palestinian flag. I visited a place called Sebastia in the occupied West Bank, and Palestinians were shot and in the hospital for simply erecting a Palestinian flag on a hilltop several days prior. This is the brutal reality of military occupation in the West Bank, Mosab. I mean, I want the violence to end. I empathize with the victims' sides of this, and that's why I want to get to the root of the conflict. Yes, I don't go out there and say Jews can't be trusted like you say about Muslims. I empathize with all civilian life. I believe and cherish the sanctity of human life, and that's why I want to get to the root of why violence occurs, Mosab. And
let me ask my question. Do you agree with the principle that Palestinians should be entitled to exactly the same human rights as Israelis?
Listen, suffering of the Arabians, again, stop calling them Palestinians. They are not Palestinians. We are Arabs. We are.
Yes, they are. Who does this guy? Sorry, guys, I had to pee. Could you still hear the show while I was peeing? First of all, I love how he's like, stop calling them Palestinians. They're Arabs. It's like, I'm sorry, who are you? You speak? You're the spokesperson for Palestinians? No, bro. No, bro. You do not speak on behalf of Palestinians. You speak on behalf of Mossad.
Are the Arabs of Judea and Samaria and Israel and the Jewish people have
Palestinians call themselves Palestinians
of their state? Well, you gave them that name. You forced the international community and the rest of the world.
All right, well, let me rephrase the question. Should the people who live in Gaza and on the West Bank, should they be entitled to the same human rights as Israelis?
If they have equal responsibility as the decent citizens of the state of Israel, that.
Are you kidding me? Zero got me wanting to pay her rent. I don't know if you're talking about Abby Martin or me, but if you're talking about me, I'll take it. Super chat's open, Venmo's open. Okay, when he said, yeah, no, you're right, man-isle. Arabian isn't the same as Arabs. Also, I like how he's like, stop calling them Palestinians. He's like, they call themselves Palestinians. And then he said, you made that up. The community made that up. Are you kidding me? Palestine existed like a long time before the international community was actually set up as a body. Like, we're talking about wait, first of all, he contradicted himself, because first he said it was what is his name? Yasser Arafat. First he said it was Yasser Arafat who created Palestine. Now he's saying that it was the international community, of which he means the UN, that created Palestine. The UN came out of World War II. The UN was created just like the Geneva Conventions after World War II. It was always Palestine. Yeah, maybe the name changed over the years, like in the Bible days, but actually Palestine from Philistine, which is in the Bible. Always been Palestine. He's literally just making shit up.
That includes Arabs, Jews, Christians, and all other citizens of the state of Israel. Then yes, if they are not. So
according to this demon, according to this possessed demon, Israel has always existed, according to him, even though it was created after 1948. But Palestine, that's been around for thousands of years, has not. Okay, got it. Oh my gosh. Absolute clown shoes.
If they are using violence, sending suicide bombers, and killing babies, kidnapping a 1-year-old, you know, how do you answer to the mother and to the mothers of...
emotional appeal of the fact that they kidnapped a 1-year-old. You really are really doing that after all the babies that you guys have killed? After all the babies, thousands that the Israeli regime has bombed and killed. And you're really talking about the baby that was captured as a hostage as if you care about babies? Please. Thank you, F. Like, please. Get out of here.
Hostages and all those who got killed on October 7th.
Oh, yeah, we got to add that to our bingo card too, you guys. The hostages that they do not care about. They do not give a shit. Don't ever let anyone make you believe they care about those hostages. They do not. Correct. True. Christ was a Palestinian refugee. True. In fact, for those of you who don't know Christian history, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, was actually born in the occupied West Bank. He's born in Bethlehem. Well, actually, I don't know if Bethlehem is part of the occupied West Bank, but he was born in Bethlehem. You guys can fact check me on that. Yeah, and what about the Palestinian hostages? How about them? How about the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Palestinian hostages in Israeli jails? But they always lie about that. People like Ben Shapiro will say, oh, they're all terrorists, convicted terrorists. Lies and nonsense. Rubbish. So many of the Palestinian hostages that are sitting in Israeli jails right now are people, kids, women, little boys that were 13 years old that got arrested for throwing a rock. Okay? So, and with no trial. So many of the people that are in Israeli jails went to with no trial, no due process, just got thrown in Israeli jail. Children, little boys, teenagers, women. Okay? No due process. And then they want to call themselves a democracy. The only democracy in the Middle East. How is that a democracy? You bitches just banned Al Jazeera. How is that a democracy? Where's the free press? Okay. So get out of here. Okay, good. Somebody just confirmed that for me. That Bethlehem, Jesus's birthplace in the occupied West Bank. When they talk about, the only army, that's another one we got to put on the bingo card. So yes, democracy, but no DNA test is allowed. It's amazing. Yeah, because they don't want to do the DNA and find out that their ancestry is Polish. Like, truly amazing. So it's just crazy. Yeah. So they need to get, yes, Iran backed. So they need to talk about those hostages.
It's very easy to just trust Israel. This is what her likes have been trying to do for so long. But they don't have the moral power to say what Hamas did, all the waves of suicide bombing attacks. October 7th, that was a genocide. That was a genocide. Stop.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay. Wait, are we really doing this routine? So October 7th, according to this guy, was a genocide. But what's happening now with over 40,000 people that have been massacred since then, that's not a genocide? This guy is a joke. This guy is a joke.
Spreading the false narrative. Now, regarding to the Arabs who live there, they need a decent police force. They need a good economy.
Yeah, and they also say it all started on October 7th. There was a ceasefire on the 6th. Lies. No, there wasn't. And another thing they like to do, people like him, is they like to bring up the suicide bombings in the early 2000s and late 90s or 80s during the intifadas. But I like how there's been so many massacres in Gaza and in Palestine over and over and over again for years. And they never mention those. They love to bring up the suicide bombings, but they never mention like Operation Cast Lead or any of the other massacres that have happened to the Palestinians in the last 40 years. But yeah.
They need good education. And if they are able to integrate, then naturally could be a political entity based on their needs. But now, when she say Palestine, who is? Islamic Jihad?
I'm sorry. How are they supposed to have a good economy when they are living in an open-air prison? Dr. M. Blakeley, you have a Zionist in your chat. Oh, yikes. Who is it? I'll kick him out. I know, guys. I don't have a mod yet for this thing. Oh, I see. Okay. I just banned him. Thanks, guys, for calling that out. Yeah. Human. Yeah, good, nice name. Yeah, we're not doing that here. I don't have any time for that bullshit.
Ismail Hamas, Public Front, they don't have agenda, they don't have leadership, they don't have legitimacy. This is an anarchy that has been going on for about 70 years. It's about time for it to stop. Now to transform, to integrate the society, we must protect the children. And this is a priority number one before we talk about Palestinian state or whatever name you want to give it. That when we have a savage group, Islamists, by the name of Allah, hijacking and using children as human shields, their own children, after killing Jewish children, then this is a capital crime. We cannot blind our eyes. We have to deal with priorities. First, we remove this savage group out of power. If Abi's intention were proof.
Who's we? O'Day, I'm so sorry, O'Day, Abukov, 15. I don't know what that little symbol is near the 15, but whatever it is, thank you. Zionist talking points, defend ourselves, Hamas, 40 beheaded babies after October 7th, the charter, the hostages, Hamas again, tunnels, anti-Semitism, moral harmony. Yeah, for real though, for real. They're still repeating the baby hoax. Like, unironically, they're still saying it. It's amazing.
Pro peace. This is our intention, that we should unify our efforts toward this main goal, first goal, priority.
Man out,
then
yeah,
after that, we can talk about
like,
the future.
He cares about the
and
children.
This criminal, you call Marwan Barghouti in Israeli prison.
How are you supposed to differentiate who is and who is not Hamas when Israeli authorities have literally called almost every entity in Gazan society Hamas, including UNRWA? They even are calling students on college campuses Hamas.
Yes, that's such a great point. How are they supposed to differentiate who is Hamas and who is not when to them, everyone's Hamas? Literally, everyone's Hamas. Joe Biden is Hamas. College students are Hamas. I'm Hamas. Babies and incubators are Hamas. Abby Martin's Hamas. Everyone's Hamas. So how are they supposed to differentiate who's Hamas and who's not when, according to them, literally everyone is Hamas? Yeah, okay. The bike chains, yes, they're Hamas. The pop-up tents from Amazon that the students got are Hamas. Yes, they literally called the my dead grandma's Hamas. The hostages are Hamas. Oh my gosh.
I mean, there's summary executions of doctors thrown in mass graves
True.
Because they're called Hamas. So I'm sorry that this label has been rendered completely meaningless. As far as the term human shields, look, there's been no evidence, according to Amnesty International, during Cast Lead and the 2014 onslaught and today. I mean, there is absolutely no evidence provided that Hamas uses human shields and that somehow justifies this heinous slaughter of predominantly women in Gaza. And even if they were literally standing behind hostages, you still can't just kill hundreds of people in a single airstrike because a Hamas commander is right there. And that's exactly what Israel is admittedly doing. Through AI, they're saying that they could kill up to 100 civilians for every Hamas official. It's absolutely outlandish.
But if a group like Hamas launches a terrorist attack on Israel that kills 1,200...
Yeah, that's the other thing. They always love to do the human shields routine, but like, even if they were using people as human shields, they aren't. You can't just kill a hostage or somebody that they're using just there's a bad guy standing behind them.
people. They take over 200 more people hostage, including babies and Holocaust survivors. That is a declaration of war, which they knew would lead to the kind of response we've seen from Israel. And Israel would argue, and they would have some sound argument to this, that if someone declares war on you in that manner and you respond, and in eliminating the terrorists who committed that heinous crime, civilian casualties are incurred, they would say that that is exactly what has happened in any other war in history. That the principle is the same, that the civilian loss of life is appalling, but that the principle of retaliating against a body of people who have committed one of the worst terror attacks in living memory, that is why they're doing it.
The worst terrorist attacks in living memory. Now, that's not even true. That's not even true.
There's no symmetry between the two sides.
Exactly.
It's complete asymmetrical mass slaughter of women and kids.
Correct.
You know that.
Well,
and
actually,
you could also
Hamas
make the
did
same
commit a
argument for
mass
what
slaughter
preempted.
of women and kids. They did. You said there's no symmetry.
There's
an
absolute
symmetry.
But there's no.
No, they didn't. He just said Hamas committed all these heinous acts against women and children. What? Insane.
There's no symmetry between an occupying colonizing force and the people that they're occupying and colonizing. You could obviously make the same argument that preempted October 7th, that it was a declaration of war to siege Gaza,
you, Absalom,
to prevent aid from being in, to shoot people that stray too far out, that are fishing, that can't go get medical aid and are sentenced to death within Gaza. Is that not a declaration of war? Is it not a declaration of war to violate international law to maintain a brutal fascist military dictatorship in the West Bank? These all preempted October 7th. So it just keeps going back and back to what is the root of actual violence here.
Okay, Mosab, I'll give the last word to you. Where do we get peace from all this hell?
Listen, naturally, if Israeli protocol is not sufficient and it's not satisfactory to the expectations of Abby and many of her friends,
that's one
then
thing
I say, how about we punish Hamas by their own laws, by the Islamic law? Why don't we follow the Islamic protocol? In this case, the Islamic law says, behead all men and take all women and children as booty. This is their moral stand. So she say it's asymmetric. Well, we already know that. It's a very dirty war. We are dealing with people with the mentality of this.
I like how he admits it's asymmetrical. Like, he's flailing now. Like, she definitely crushed him, and then he's flailing. So he's like, well, we know it's asymmetrical. That's war. And you know what? I don't know what to do. I need to come up with a plan. Islam is scary. It's scary. They're going to behead them.
7th century tribalism, it's not an easy mission for a democracy, for any country, for any modern army, for any civilized society to deal with this. So we need to be reasonable. I understand if people are anti-war and they are pro-children, pro-life, me too. But sometimes we have to make very difficult choices. And Israel was really pushed to the corner. Israel is fighting for its very existence. I am fighting for my very existence. I didn't.
LOL. Yeah, Reno, we know that that's not true. These people are out of control liars. Like, also, I like how he goes, I like how he goes out of his way to be like, Israel's fighting for its very existence. What you get out of here. It's drama queens. This guy, I'm fighting for my very existence. Are you though? Like, no one cares. No one cares, sir. I need the laughs. I started crying this morning when B-Son came up on my feed and I read. Yeah, no, I hear that. Thank you, Akon, AK. I'm sorry. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's exactly the reason why you need to be able to make fun of the propagandists. At least for me, the way I process grief oftentimes is through laughter. I also think that laughter is a great propaganda tool because, like, and by propaganda isn't always a bad thing. It's like sometimes just the way you get your message across. So messaging wise, I feel like spreading information, I feel like laughter is a great way to do that. That's why I roast these people all the time. That's why I parody them. That's why I make fun of them. And that's why we do stuff like this. Because I think that it's not only good to be able to laugh even in really, really dark times and really, really horrible times of grief, but I think it also helps spread the truth in the message. So I totally hear you. Because it is. If you're constantly only looking at the darkness and the horror that is happening. It's you can't move. And it's okay to have those moments. I have moments like that. I'll be on Twitter and I'll see something, I'll see a video of a Palestinian child or something. I'll hear something, I'll read something, and I will feel paralyzed by the grief and the sadness and the injustice.
Kill any Arab, I kill any of their tribesmen, but they want me to exist. Why? Because I criticize their religion, I criticize their stupid ideas that are leading towards global chaos. And instead of spreading the narrative, the victim narrative, what we need to do actually, we need to localize it, not globalize it. And we need to be reasonable of our expectations from a democracy in the middle of crisis.
Okay. Mosab Hassan Yousef, Abby Martin,
Right.
It was a spirited debate. I think I learned, as I always do from these debates, I learned a little bit more than before. So thank you both very much indeed.
Bro, that was amazing. That was amazing. Truly. Truly. Yeah, spirited. That's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. Okay, so this guy is literally Mossad. All right, let's just look over this psycho. Trigger warning to have to see his picture. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't do anything. Get out of here. Okay. Sorry, guys. I coughed. Mosab Hassan Yousef. Okay. So, and he keeps coming on because he's an authority. Why? Like, what is he an authority on? For real, for real. Like, you're authority on shit, bro. Bro, I know, and there's many of them. Because honestly, like, it literally pays so much to be Asbaris for the Israeli regime. Like, they really do pay the big bucks. They really do. That's why they project that he wrote his own Wikipedia. Oh my gosh. Did he write his own Wikipedia? Oh, I spelled Mossad wrong. Execute his father if hostages are not free. Okay. Yeah, this is an old article. Son of Hamas founder was a mole for the Israelis, says Haaretz. And Haaretz is a newspaper or news outlet. Newspaper. I sound like Alan Dershowitz now. We're coming for them. We're coming from their boom boxes. Mosab Hassan Yousef, son of one of the 4 founders of the radical Islamist movement Hamas, is said to have spied for Israel for 10 years, 1 week ahead of him publishing his memoirs. He was a key mole for the Israeli intelligence inside the Islamist movement, helping thwart dozens of attacks, an Israeli newspaper reported Wednesday. He is nobody to us Palestinians, literally an unknown clown. He feels like a dirty juice that spills from the garbage bag. Oh, Dave, that is funny. Yeah, it's amazing. So he was like operating within Hamas and he was like spying for the Israeli regime. Like, what a creep. And just from like a human point of view, like, how do you sell out your dad like that? Like, let's set aside for a second. Hamas, everything they stand for, what their project is, whatever. How do you sell out your own parent like that? Bro, I don't even like have a relationship with my parents really. And like, I would never do that. That is so messed up. Like, really, like you're really out here throwing your own family under the bus. Like, it's so crazy. So the son of Sheikh Hassan Yousef was codenamed the Green Prince by his handlers in Shin Bet Internal Intelligence Agency. The article was based on extracts from his book, Son of Hamas, co-written by Yousef, who converted to Christianity 10 years ago and now lives in California. Oh, okay. I see. So this is amazing. So he converted to Christianity, which is why he hates Islamists and Islam. And he's basically a full-on Westerner now, okay? So I'm sorry, answer me this. What authority then does he have to speak on the Palestinian struggle when he's basically said Palestinians don't exist? He announced his family and everything about his identity culturally and ethnically. And he basically is a Westerner. He's a Western Christian living in California. He's like a reverse settler in the West Bank. Like, what authority do you have? Revelations, if true, are further blow to Hamas and its shadowy military wing. They follow accusations that an informer within the group aided the killers of the top Hamas operative in Dubai, an assassination widely blamed on Israel's Mossad, but for which no evidence has been made public. Hamas and Yousef's father denied that he could have had any access to the sensitive information. However, an article said that he was crucial in the arrest of Ibrahim Hamid, once the movement's military chief in the West Bank, and Abdullah Barghouti, the bomb maker behind the infamous 2001 suicide attack on a Sbarro restaurant in Jerusalem. He is also said to have played a role in the arrest of Marwan Barghouti, the senior Fatah leader considered the architect of the 2000 Intifada or uprising. That is so wild. Yeah, 100%. These people are absolutely detached from reality. Absolutely. Oops, I'm on the wrong one. Yeah, clearly he's been on this grift for a while. He was also reportedly worked for the Shin Bet at the height of the uprising when Hamas carried out dozens of deadly suicide bombings in Israel, and Israel waged an all-out war on the group, killing many of its top leaders. Hey, where have I heard that before? That Israel was going to wage a war and wipe out Hamas and get all of its leaders, right? But they did that. Did it get rid of Hamas? No? Okay, that's what I thought. So that's just the whole when they go, we've got to eradicate Hamas. You know, they love that line. We got to eradicate Hamas. How'd that work out last time? You don't eradicate ideologies. But they know that. They know that's not really why they're doing it. Wait a second. Sheikh Hassan Yousef, a senior Hamas leader in the West Bank who was arrested in September 2005 and is still being held in an Israeli jail, denied that his son had access to Hamas secrets. Mosab was never an active member of Hamas in any capacity, either in the political or the armed wing, he said in a statement. LOL. So basically he's just made it up. Like he's pretending. You know what this is? Like he's pretending to have way more like insider information than he does. His dad's like, nah, that's not even true. Yeah, Mo, that's a really good point. It's like he tries to like look scary so that he can try to like make Palestinians look bad. Oh my gosh. His dad is like, yeah, he's from 1996. When he was 17 years old, he faced blackmail from Israeli intelligence. And when he revealed the situation at the time, of the movement were warned about him, this statement said. He faced blackmail and pressure from the Israeli intelligence, and when he revealed the situation at the time, the sons of the movement were warned about him. Oh, okay. Yeah, because he's not the only person that the Israeli regime has tried to pressure and try to get them to be collaborators. This obviously happened before, just not every sellout. Israeli analysts said that the revelations were a deep blow for Hamas. Well, you should never believe anything Israel says or Israeli intelligence. Like, they literally always are lying. This is one of the worst possible things that could have happened to them. The son of a Hamas founder betraying them, said the leader of intelligence of Arab affairs at Bahrain. However, he said that the book could also cause problems for Shin Bet, which has a long history of using Palestinian informants. Everything that is published about agents or the way they operate does not help. Yeah, like they lie all the time. They're always lying. Every accusation is a confession. Absolutely. They lie all the time. And they do try to get informants all the time. But like I said, not everybody is a sellout who's going to just like, sell out their family in order to do, propaganda for Mossad. But they obviously lie all the time. Like lying is like how you'll notice that like they were really a prospect because they wanted to be able to use him for propaganda. Because what better way to do propaganda against the Palestinians than saying, look at this Palestinian guy we found. Yeah, totally. Just like a paid shill. Oh, I'm starting to get cold. Wow, what a joke. What a joke this guy is. Why does he have googly eyes? Wait, where's the photo? There was a photo. Never mind. There was like a googly-eyed photo of him. Whoa. Why? Wait, where's that? Like, googly eyes. Googly eyes. Ponytail and googly eyes. NIL, yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah. Yes. This is what that is. Correct. And it's like not even like, oh, he could be considered. No, he actually was literally a spy. Yes. He grew a beard to seem scary. True. Okay, wait. Saying the headlines. Are you talking about in the Google photos? Wait, how is this not long hair and googly eyes? If we lost son of Mosab. Oh my gosh. Bro, crazy. Israel should kill the leaders after ceasefire. Ugh, delusional. Yeah, this guy is so insane. Good for Abby Martin for putting up with that. Like, really, like, I feel bad for her that she had to endure that, but good for her for putting up with that insanity. Oh my gosh. They're just evil. Yeah, it's really dark. It's really dark. Yeah, she did a great job. She really did. She did a great job. Yeah. You guys like my sweater? I'm cold.